same project and handed over to KA. If these airstrips are not managed by KA, who is managing these airstrips? And why should it be handed over to Kenya Airports Authority? Number two, last general election, 2022, myself and the now President, His Excellency, President Ruto, wanted to go to Sololo. We had to go to Moyale and drive all the way from Moyale to Sololo. Now, almost 3 years. The cabinet secretary should tell this house that yes, we don't have funds now, but the programs are this year or next financial year, we are going to start and complete this project. Please, can the cabinet secretary tell the people of Marsabit and the people of this country, besides not having money, when are you going to start the project and completion period? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for that supplementary question from Honorable Chute. Let me just clarify, Honorable Speaker, Honorable members, that the airstrips in Kenya, today we have a total of about 440 airstrips falling under the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Forestry under KWS, and KAA. Those under our direct jurisdiction and management are 18. And what happens, honorable members, I guess because of the facility of KAA, we do go into arrangements to support and maintain some of the airstrips like Sololo and Turbi. And so when we have an arrangement to run a maintenance and we do a tender as KAA, we supervise the construction and the contractor will then hand over a certificate of completion. And that is basically why I said it was handed over to the client. We are the client when we are into construction, but those two airstrips belong to the Ministry of Interior. Honorable Chair, Honorable Chairman, Speaker rather, honorable members. So we'll continue to cooperate with Interior, KWS, to deliver the various airstrips, continue to support and work together in terms of providing budgetary support, and that suffices to basically clarify why I did indicate that handed over back to the client being the contracting authority, KAA. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, before I give you an opportunity to ask more supplementary questions, question number 046, Senator Fatuma Nduro, is as the related subject matter on the airport in Isiolo. So I will request you also ask that question so that the CS can handle all the interventions together. Then we'll go back now to the other areas on loans. Yes, Senator Chute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I asked two questions. Question number one was the airstrips belongs to who? Then number two, the CS should give us the deadline on when to start the project and when to finish. That question he didn't answer.
Yes, if you have that capacity to determine now, then proceed and give the timelines.
Honorable Chair, thank you again. Sorry about that. And I just thought I was repeating myself, Chair, because I had indicated that this is the vastest county in Kenya, and therefore we'll pay attention to make sure that budgetary provisions are provided, and I'll pay personal attention because the mode of transport in a county as vast as Marsabit, if we don't provide these airstrips in a usable, maintainable mode, it becomes a challenge, and therefore we'll pay attention and push for budgetary support to ensure that, whereas the Ministry of Interior did provide that budget and we've been maintaining, we'll work with the Ministry of Interior to ensure that we do provide a budget and maintain those airports. Thank you, Speaker.
Senator Nduro, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question number 046 reads, how much money has the government allocated and utilized so far in the project for the modernization and rehabilitation of the Isiolo International Airport? B, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a status update on the payment of compensation to owners of the parcel of land acquired for the project and indicate when outstanding balances will be paid? C, are there plans to extend the runway at the airport? And if so, could the Cabinet Secretary provide timelines for the same? D, could the Cabinet Secretary also explain why the airport is not operational and outline steps being taken by the government to address the situation? I thank you.
Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The question for the member of Isiolo with respect to Isiolo Airport. Honorable members, with respect to question A, which is seeking the total amount of money that the government has so far allocated and utilized in the project for the modernization and rehabilitation of Isiolo Airport. Isiolo Airport, honorable members, is an international airport, given its locationing on the Lapset corridor. And what we need to do to open up that corridor and that development corridor to basically improve the economic activities of this country, because the current northern corridor is very congested. So members, and I say that deliberately because Isiolo being an international airport and I could see aerodrome featuring a single asphalt runway that measures 1.4 kilometers in length and 30 meters with 3 number taxiways and an apron. The airport is approximately on 800 acres, honorable members. That is 330 acres of land, of course, in both Isiolo and Meru counties. Major construction work started, honorable members, in 2011 and were completed in 2017. The airport modernization is part of the Lamu Port South Sudan Ethiopia Transport Corridor Lapset development project, as well as Kenya's Vision 2030 program. Isiolo International Airport was strategically planned to enhance access to northern Kenya and connect the region with major cities and international destinations, thereby promoting tourism and business travel. The airport aims to stimulate economic growth and attract investment. Future plans include expansion to further enhance its services and operational efficiency. The construction of the airport was executed in 3 phases, with phase 1 being the development of the runway and taxiway in 2011-2013. The phase 2 was the construction of the passenger terminal building, office block and car park completed in 2016, and development of the access road, apron, expansion and drainage works as a phase 3 and completed in 2017. Honorable members, the cost of phase 1, 844 million, phase 2, 963 million, that phase 3, 849 million, and the runway pavement, 47.95 million. On item 5 on that table, there's a runway pavement rehabilitation works that started in 2021-2022 at a cost of 55 million. There's a proposed construction cargo processing facility at a cost of 24.3 million, which started in 2021 and was completed. erection of floodlights, street lights, installation works, which started in 2017 and was finished in 2018 at a cost of 27.78 million. There's extra mechanical service construction of a pump house, an elevated water tank, and a borehole, which also has been completed at a cost of 55 million Kenya shillings. There is relocation of a school, KK Ngengechea School Phase 1, and there's also a Phase 2, with both costing 97 million, the 76.8 and the 20.4. With the project total, and both have been completed, honorable members, with the project cost at 2.974 billion, approximately 3 billion, honorable members. You can see the significance, big investment, and we need to really get down to answer the next question: why is the airport not operational after that level of expenditure? And on the question of the compensation to residents who were displaced as a result of the project, and how we are planning to finalize the compensation, Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, on November 2nd, 2004, the Isiolo County government agreed to set aside a portion of trust land for the expansion and promise alternative land for those affected in nearby areas. Similar discussion took place in the defunct County Council of Meru North. The authority held consultation with stakeholders, including district commissioners at that time, and council, culminating in a supportive workshop that took place on January 14, 2005. Benefits of the airport project were highlighted, leading to further collaborative planning between the councils. And after completing a joint fiscal planning exercise, the part development plans were submitted and approved by the Ministry of Lands and Housing in April 2006. The authority received a letter of allotment for approximately 253 hectares on May 23rd, 2006. Honorable Speaker, members, meanwhile, in or around November 2004, the then Isiolo County Council conducted an identification exercise of persons affected by the expansion of the airstrip, and a full council adoption of the same was obtained. The affected persons were to be relocated by the County Council of Isiolo. As of to date, honorable members, Speaker, due to multiple conflicts, claims, the authority has not been able to compensate the project affected persons due to the fact that the genuine affected persons by the airport expansion have not been identified, as the process of vetting genuine persons and determining just compensation for the land used for expansion of the airport solely lies with the National Land Commission. In addition, there are multiple court land matters pertaining to Isiolo International Airport, which we have annexed. With respect to, and certainly we need to, given the time frame and the historical time frame, we just need to complete that. And therefore, we need to really get the National Land Commission together with the county government and of course ourselves to close that issue, as the concern has been brought out by Senator Dulo. As regarding plans to extend the runway at the airport, and if so, whether we can provide a timeline, Speaker, we have listed projects that have been planned to make Isiolo International Airport fully functional to support both passenger and cargo traffic, and then really support that investment that has been laid, that has been put on the ground. These projects are all dependent with the allocation of funding, and being Isiolo being where it sits in the Lapset corridor, the National Treasury will work very closely with the National Treasury to ensure that with the projected budget estimate that I have enumerated of 4.8 billion, that covers what we need to do, which include rehabilitation of the existing runway through the midterm program, an evaluation of the existing runway was done, and a recommendation of fully reconstructing the runway made due to the failures that have been observed since inception. I think there's a bit of clay cotton there, and we need to redo that. It will cost us 1.5 billion. Runway extension of 3.5 kilometers to really land the bigger flights. Extending the runway will cost us 1.5 billion. We need to put in a fire station at an additional 300 million. We need to complete the airport perimeter fence. We need airfield ground field lighting, which will cost us 250 million. We need aircraft traffic control tower. With the expansion noted above, we may require that, and it will cost us an additional 300 million. Improvement of drainage around the airport to basically address that water logging due to the type of soils there will cost us 300 million. And land acquisition for VIP car parks, hangars, and road expansion. A total budget, like I said, of 4.8 billion. And like, again, to reiterate that Isiolo being where it sits in the LAPSSET corridor, and for the strategic definition, we will work very closely to secure the investment already on the ground by facilitating a completion of this airport. On the question of why the airport is not operational and the steps we are taking to address the situation, Mr. Speaker, sir, the facility currently accommodates non-scheduled flights, primarily involving caravans and helicopters, but is experiencing significant runway defects due to flooding caused by terrain challenges and expansive black cotton soil. These issues have led to low pavement classification values, limiting the type of aircraft that can operate safely. Honorable Speaker, in November 2020, the authority engaged the Material Testing and Research Division under the Ministry of Transport to assess the runway pavement and recommend corrective action. The Kenya Airports Authority is awaiting additional funding from the National Treasury to address these issues, with proposals that include reconstructing the runway, like I've said. And the project, the runway, being the international status, positioning of Isiolo, I did say these defects, as they present a serious risk, including safety hazards, operational limitation, increased maintenance and cost, will be something of priority for us. And therefore, timely repairs are crucial to enhance safety, expand operational capacity, reduce long-term costs, and attract more users, ensuring our facility long-term viability. And again, members, we will pay attention. Isiolo is a critical geopositioning in the LAPSSET corridor. And so it is of national interest as much as it's of interest to the senator from Isiolo. Thank you.
Senator Dulo, you can ask your supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and CS Chirchir for the response. Unfortunately, I've gotten the response just half an hour before you came in. I might not be able to interrogate. But since I know what is happening on the ground, I can be able to ask a further question on the same. Now, on the part of the airport, having started in 2011, and I know you have reiterated that this airport is really important for the government and also for the people living in those areas. And looking again at the policy of Kenya Kwanza bottom-up approach, this is an airport that should have helped the people from that area. And secondly, it will ease a lot of congestion at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, more specifically for those people who are transporting miraa and also doing business to more specifically northern part of the country. Waziri, you have said you have used 2.9 billion, which is a huge chunk of money. And the balance required is about 4.8. This is a project that started in 2011. As we look at that airport, it's just a white elephant project. And I know the government cannot miss 4.8 million to uplift and upgrade and develop that part of the country. CS, I know supplementary budget is going on. And I know, as you have said, this airport is really important to you. Can you give us a timeline within which you are going to commit to finalize this project? Because it's really important for us. Employment, economic empowerment, and all that. The second question, Mr. Speaker, is on compensation. As you have said, NLC is taking us round in circles. I have asked this question on this floor of the House, even in the last Senate, same stories are repeated. I have personally gone to KAA to follow up. They have all the names of the people who need to be compensated. NLC has the list, but the communities are being frustrated after their land being taken in 2011. And I hope Waziri is listening to me, Mr. Speaker, is as a result of frustration by NLC that people went to court. Can the minister give us a commitment when this matter is going to be resolved? Because NLC has everything. I even have the list of the beneficiaries. They cannot say they don't have the list. In fact, there was no land even set aside by the county council. I have followed all that. In the absence of the list, the land set aside for by the county council, actually in the last parliament, county government of Isiolo even brought more lists of beneficiaries to NLC, bringing more confusion. So this matter is really very sensitive. Can the minister tell us when they are going to conclude on this matter and settle the outstanding compensation? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, we're going to take two more supplementary questions so that the CS can answer 3 questions at a time. Senator Kathuri Murungi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to weigh in from where my sister, Isiolo Senator, has left. Honorable CS, this airport, the initial idea was very good to do the airport in Isiolo, as you have really stressed. But if you go to that airport, Honorable CS, maybe you have been there or not, the CEO, Kenya Ports Authority, has been there severally, and your team, including the CS, the PS. But if you go to that project, you realize that Kenya, we are really wasting resources because the airport is huge. Actually, it is at the level of Eldoret Airport. Actually, better than Eldoret Airport, if I may say. But if now
Senator Mandango, what is your point of order?
You know, Eldoret is not your airport.
Senator for Meru.
What is it?
Isiolo is not yet even classified an airport. Eldoret is an international airport receiving not less than 5 cargo planes. I expect you to be asking the CS when is he expanding the runway so that we can export horticultural produce from
Yes,
that place.
Deputy
Please
Speaker.
don't compare my airport with an airstrip meant for livestock.
Order, senators. Order, senators. Order, senators. Order. Order. I was going to address that. Order, senators. Senator, Deputy Speaker, Senator Mandago was on a point of order. You should have taken your seat while he was talking, but that's been overtaken by events. Senator Mandago, I didn't quite hear your point of order. What was your point of order?
You know, Honorable Speaker, under 105.
Order, Cherargei, can we hear the senator in silence?
Yes. Understanding 105, standing order 105, Honorable Speaker, and a statement of facts. The senator of mail should provide evidence that the Isiolo Airport that is not operational is better than Eldoret International Airport. He is on record. He said it. Yes. This business of people demeaning projects in other counties, Honorable Speaker, is not correct. And I was just passing information to the Honorable Deputy Speaker that he should actually be asking the CS when is Eldoret International Airport going to be extended, because it's more visible and achievable and economically viable.
Senator Deputy Speaker.
For sure, I don't know why my friend here is offended by my statement. You know, Speaker, I was building my case to showcase that Isiolo International Airport, actually it is international level, is as huge, even better facilities than what is in Eldoret. I've been to Eldoret Airport. I've been to Isiolo. Actually, I want to be informed by my colleague here, Senator Chalgei. He requested for some form information to me,
Senator,
which I accept. Then
Senator
I'll be able
Cherargei.
to execute my issue.
Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, you know, for me who has been to Isiolo International Airport, it has more better facilities than Eldoret. Eldoret, the reception area of Eldoret looks like a toilet or ramshackle, Mr. Speaker, and they don't have a direct flight. So in fact, they are better and there are no direct flights to Eldoret International Airport, Mr. Speaker. The area senator should be pushing for a better upgrade of Eldoret International Airport instead of undermining Isiolo International Airport, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mandago, what's your point of order?
My point of order, Honorable Speaker, is on 105. Can Cherargei really say that Eldoret Reception Airport is equivalent to a toilet? When Nandi County itself is suffering from serious problems, they are not yet even at the level of getting an airport. They are still struggling with all-weather roads, Honorable Speaker. The other day, we were being treated to demolitions in Nandi. It's a very disorderly county that they have no capacity to comment.
Senator Mohammed Faki, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I think it is a misnomer. It's a misnomer for some of these so-called international airports to be called international airports. If an international airport doesn't allow flights to land at night, how can that be an international airport? Airports that close at 5 p.m. That cannot be an international airport.
Which airport are you referring to?
Eldoret. And you know, recently, Mr. Speaker, sir, we voted for Eldoret County, Uasin Gishu County, to be called a city, Eldoret to be a city. And how can a city not have an airport that works 24 hours?
Senator, this is the last point of order. Senator Veronica, what is your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I am getting lost with the proceedings in the House right now. The Cabinet Secretary is in the House today. He's answering questions regarding the question that was raised by the Honorable Senator for Isiolo, and he has the standardization of international airports. The marking scheme on the standards of those airports is in the House. Why don't you ask him to define for us what an international airport should contain and whether Isiolo and Eldoret have international airports?
Senator Paul Thangwa, what is your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I'm not finished.
No,
I'm not done. You cannot define when I'm done. It is only the Speaker who can define when I'm done. Honorable Speaker, I'm trying to help the House. Let the CS for transport
define for the House what an international airport should contain,
Yeah.
and whether Uasin-Gishu Eldoret has an international airport and Isiolo has an international
Thank you,
airport.
Senator. Senator Paul Thangwa, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I don't understand the fuss, Mr. Speaker, but we are all in agreement. Isiolo Airport is not working. Eldoret Airport is not working. That means nothing is working. That means the government is not working, Mr. Speaker. We all agree
Order,
the government is not working, and we
Order.
should not continue with this
Order,
debate,
senators.
Mr. Speaker. Nothing is working. This is an indication of what we have been saying, Mr. Speaker. They should agree that the government is not working, then together we come up with the plans of how we are going to take care of Isiolo and Uasin-Gishu Eldoret Airport. Nothing is working. Nothing.
Thank you. Order, senators. Order, senators. Order, senators. Order, we need to progress. Yes. Can we allow Senator Kathuri Murungi to complete his submissions?
Honorable Speaker, can you protect me from this
Senators,
here?
senators, order. Let us hear the senator in silence.
Actually, we are discussing an issue touching on livelihood of the whole region called Upper Eastern and actually Central Kenya. So, Mr. Speaker, you know, when we are discussing serious issues of national importance, the senator for Endole, Uasin-Gishu, can also do business in Isiolo. So when we are addressing matters of national importance, we should not just take these issues as regional matters or county matters. So what I was saying is that the Honorable Mr. CS, the investment that is in Isiolo and the Isiolo is non-functional. It is really shameful to this republic. More than 5 years ago, I visited the CEO of Kenya Airports Authority, and he gave me the same report that we need 4.8 from the Exchequer. Mr. CS, this money can even go through the PPP way. So that also, yes, just a minute, Mr. Speaker. So that also that airport can be actualized. So Mr. CS, this 4.8 billion is very little money if you want to rescue Isiolo Airport. And you don't need to do everything the same day, because if it is expansion of the runway, it is 1.5 billion. Why don't you even start with that as you assemble more funds to do the air traffic control, to do the fire station? Why don't we start even with the 1.5 billion for the runway extension, so that at least we can be able to get that airport functional, Mr. CS. Mr. CS, we have a similar question next year about the mirror accidents along Meru-Nairobi Highway. Those accidents as a result of the non-functional airport in Isiolo, because these mirror guys bring mirror to Nairobi so that they can ferry them to Somalia and other countries. But because there is no airport, that is why you see them landing very fast. Mirror is very perishable, very perishable. If the airport is functional in Isiolo, there will be no accidents along the highway, Mr. Wana CS. So if we can be able to collect one issue, including the vegetables that we produce. Fatuma Nduro, you very well know that they are from Nanyuki to the junction, Isiolo Airport, Isiolo Junction. There is a lot of flowers and vegetables that needs to be ferried through Isiolo Airport. So the abattoir now in Isiolo, you need to transport that meat to Saudi Arabia through Isiolo Airport. So this is a very important facility
Senator,
that should be completed. And this is what we require from the Kenya Kwanza government. If they give us this one, we can talk other business. But this is like a mandatory project that we need from Kenya Kwanza.
thank you, Senator. No, I'm not taking any more point of order. Senator Enoch Wambua, ask your supplementary question.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you. Clearly, I don't belong to that region or that league where we are discussing the national airports. My supplementary will stem from Marsabit, where we are discussing airstrips. Mr. Speaker, my question is to the CS. Airstrips. The CS, we once used to have Kitui airstrip. We once used to have Mutomo airstrip. And there has been a proposal for a Sikuru airstrip. The Speaker, none of this is functional. None of this is operating. In fact, I will respond to Cherio, Senator, because he's asking me whether Kalonzo did not build the airstrip. And I want to tell him that he did not. He did not, but he helped to build airstrips in other regions in this country. I hope that the people in office today then will help to build airstrips where
Order, senators, order, senators. Senators, if I may remind you, we only have 1 hour left. We have several questions to go through. These kinds of interruption will only lead us to drop some of the questions or even drop the supplementaries that you want to ask the CS. So let us
you,
please maintain decorum.
Thank you, Chair, for
And
protecting
Senator
me.
Wambua, please, no long stories. Just ask your question.
Mr. Speaker, I will take exception to that, but I will comply because I've listened to other senators giving a lot of stories. I have no stories, Mr. Speaker, to give. I have no stories to give.
Thank you, Senator.
Only to say that, Mr. Speaker, I would want to know the fate of those airstrips. Because, in fact, the Kitui airstrip has now been degenerated to a level of being a grazing field for neighbors. Nothing is working there. And you know, Mr. Speaker, I thank God that at least as we speak today, the PS in charge of airports and all aeroplanes in this country is one Terry Mbaika, who is seated here, and he comes from that region. So that Cherio does not say that the people of Ukambani don't belong to government. I wonder what he means when he says don't belong to government. This is a very senior officer in government, in charge of aeroplanes and airports. I mean, this is a serious person from the region. Well, we are seriously in government, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to know whether then the presence of that PS would make it even better for the people of that region. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary, you may take those 3 questions before we take the next 3 questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, for those supplementary questions. Let me start with Mheshimiwa Dulo's concern that we certainly will need to sit down together offline with the National Land Commission to address some of those pertinent issues of land compensation and the funding thereof to be able to resolve it once for all. You remember I said they are really historical issues, and sometimes it doesn't look like anybody's paying attention. So out of these chambers, Speaker, we will pay attention. I would like to invite Mheshimiwa Dulo, maybe Chairman Otachi, so that we can resolve those outstanding issues and address the financial requirements and compensation for the project affected persons and compensate them accordingly. As regarding members, the concern of this airport or that airport, I did indicate in my substantive answer that the Isiolo airport sits on a development corridor, LAPSET, which is the second development corridor for this country to move out of the congested northern corridor, which anchors Kenya or puts Kenya in an anchor state through the port of Mombasa, service in Uganda, servicing DRC, Congo, and the countries in the northern corridor. And to the extent we will understand the context on why we are developing the northern corridor, not to be a regional corridor or a regional airport for that matter, but to open up a new development corridor and decongest the current corridor, but more importantly, leverage on Kenya's geoposition to service Ethiopia, South Sudan, and you do know what is currently happening between Djibouti, South Sudan, and Ethiopia. And therefore, this is not a regional airport per se. It is an international airport that sits on the Lapset corridor, and that seeks to support Lamu, that we have already developed 3 parts on a deep water port. That seeks to really open up a whole corridor to service South Sudan, Ethiopia, and part of northern Uganda. So it's important, members, to distinguish the context of Kenya as an anchor state and primarily or secondarily benefiting the people of Eastern and Central Kenya because of the location of this airport. So I want to confirm that because this was a regional project, not just a national project, Isiolo will be built because we need to leverage on our geopositioning. When I say regional, you understand, like this month we've just postponed a summit meeting by the 3 heads of states. This draws significant advantage to Kenya because when I said Kenya is an anchor state, it's basically leveraging and taking a competitive advantage of our geopositioning. And therefore, it's not about just Isiolo, it's about Kenya. And so when I say Isiolo will be built, it is not just about Isiolo, it's about Kenya leveraging on that corridor and ensuring that we do take that advantage, because if we don't, there is currently the talk between the other 3 countries on forming another regional bloc. And therefore, Kenya has to seize its position and be able to take advantage of that corridor, and Isiolo, Lamu, and the so I want to confirm that, and we should work together as leadership to ensure that we seize this opportunity and develop Lapset as a second development corridor for this country, and take that anchor position to basically open a corridor to service South Sudan, Ethiopia, and a bit of northern Uganda. So these are national projects, not just projects. Therefore, we will work together and pay attention to ensuring that the whole of the Lapset corridor and the components, including Isiolo International Airport, is fully developed. And so I think I want to leave at that, but not to fail to basically just confirm that in the context of what I've said, we will pay attention together and ensure that we provide resources to develop Isiolo as a key spoke or a key component in the Lapset corridor that we all desire to fully develop. And of course, the secondary benefits, which could be primary in terms of perishable goods like Mira, not having to come to Nairobi, but flown out of the international airport of Isiolo. I think that basically covers what Senator Kaduri did raise as concern, really Isiolo being an asset that has not been fully developed. And it is true, it has not been fully developed, just like Lamu Port and the whole corridor, because it's a big, huge regional project. If it was just for the purpose of building an airport in Isiolo, I don't think we'll be putting in a disposition of about 10 billion to fully develop Isiolo. But to the context that we're really opening a new corridor, and when I really, as minister, say we'll develop Isiolo, I think every senator should be saying we'll develop Isiolo, because it is a key component in opening that corridor, that second corridor that will decongest and take advantage of the other 3 countries who are landlocked. With respect to Senator Enoch Wambua's question, I think we will really work very closely with all members to ensure that all our airstrips are functioning. We are working with the county governments to ensure that, if I may say, none of the airstrips break even. They are not profit making but they facilitate trade, movement of people, and so on and so forth. And it is in the process of opening up the country. And therefore, even as we work with the county governments, who we have a framework that we do the runway, we do the aprons, they do the terminal building, we will need to see really bankability or sustainability of this airport, so that when budget is not provided, it doesn't become a grazing field or something like that. And therefore, we'll work very closely to ensure that all our airstrips are functional for ease of movement of people and goods, in spite of the challenge of most of them or all of them not really having a bottom line in terms of revenues to sustain the expenditure or the cost that are incurred year in, month out, and annually. So let me then basically say we will work very closely to ensure sustainability of our airstrips so that they are all functional, and will endeavor to provide budget. The situation obtaining in Marsabit is about the same situation obtaining in Kitui, and it's about the same situation obtaining in my home county of Bomet and all the other counties. But we will work to ensure that we do make them functional to support ease of movement of goods and people. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members.
Senator Miraj.
Asante Bwana Spika, uniruhusu kabla ya kuuliza swali langu nitoe pongezi kwa serikali, hususan Wizara ya Uchukuzi na Barabara kwa kuweza Uturuki kuweza kutua moja kwa moja katika kiwanja cha kimataifa cha Moi. Tarehe 26 mwezi wa 4 mwaka wa 2023 niliweza kusimama na kupeana ombi ya kuruhusiwa kwa ndege hizo za kimataifa kuweza kutua katika kiwanja kile, na ni pongezi. Swali langu kwa waziri ni kwamba mikakati ya kuboresha ili kiweze kuwa na muonekano kimiundo msingi, kwa sababu wale wageni tunaowatarajia katika kiwanja kile sasa watakuwa ni wageni wa kitalii na wamezunguka katika mataifa mengine ya nje na wameona mionekano mizuri. Je, kuna mikakati gani ya kuweza kuona kwamba uwanja wa ndege wa Moi umeweza kuboreshwa na kupata muonekano mpya ambao unaendana sambamba na viwanja vingine vya kimataifa? Wenyewe Waswahili husema, waziri, kicheko cha takameno. Je, tumejipanga sawia kuona kwamba wageni tutakapokuwa tunawapokea wanaona hali tofauti na ile walioiacha hapo awali? Asante sana.
Senator Mazayo.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, swali langu kwa waziri ni kwamba hichi kiwanja cha ndege cha Isiolo kina wale engineers na maafisa husika ambao waliweza kutengeneza hii airport. Bwana Spika, tukiangalia cha kwanza ni kwamba hawa professionals waliweza kutengeneza ripoti yao na wakasema ya kwamba kiwanja hichi kitakuwa tayari ikiwa kitatumia pesa bilioni 1.5. Bwana Spika, nataka kujua majina ya hawa engineers ambao waliweza kutengeneza hii airport na wakasema watatumia ile katika ile kuangalia watatumia pesa ngapi za serikali, watatumia bilioni 1.5, waweze kuwekwa wazi hapa wale maengineer waliofanya kazi hiyo, ama wahusika wowote waliokuwa na uwezo wa kutengeza hiyo kiwanja cha ndege. Bwana Spika, swala langu la pili, ikiwa hivi sasa imeonekana ya kwamba hii ardhi chini yake ilikuwa haiwezi kuchukua mzigo kama ule wa ndege, ama ilikuwa haiwezi kuchukua mzigo ya vitu vizito, imepatikana imelegea ile ardhi kichini, kisayansi ama kiinjinia ni kwamba iko very weak on the top, na huko chini ndio kumeharibika kabisa. Na hawa walikuwa ni hao engineers ambao walifanya hiyo contract na wakafanya recommendations zao. Swala langu ni kwamba ni hatua gani serikali imechukua kuona ya kwamba hawa ma-engineers wameadhibiwa. Na pia swala la pili ni kwamba waziri aweze kutueleza hawa ma-engineers walisomea wapi hiyo engineer wao. Na mwisho bwana Spika.
Senator Mazayo.
Bwana Spika.
Ushauliza swali yako. Ushauliza swali yako.
Swali langu la mwisho ni kwamba nataka kumuuliza waziri.
Swali ni moja, Senator Mazayo.
Ndio, swala ni moja, nataka kuongezea. Pole, nataka kuongezea. Ni kwamba ni hatua gani ambayo inaweza kuchukuliwa kuona ya kwamba athari kama hii haitatokea, na hawa mainjinia wanatakana kumsaidia rais, ili rais aonekane akisema kitu chake kifanyike. Hawa ndio wafisadi, kwa sababu wanataka kurudi tena watengeze pesa. Airport ni hiyo pesa ambayo imekuwa allocated ni ile ilikuwa ambao wameitumia, sasa wamekuja wameweka double, kutokea wameweka mara mbili, kutokea bilioni 1.5, sasa wanasema ya kwamba wanaweza kumaliza kwa bilioni bilioni 4. Kwa hiyo bwana Spika, tunasema ufisadi kama ni hatua gani ambao waziri anaweza kuchukua, amechukua kuona kwamba hawa wahandisi waliofanya hii kazi wamechukuliwa hatua gani?
Asante Senator, tushafahamu swali yako. Senator Mandago, sijui kama utafata mtindo na wewe ulize swali kwa Kiswahili.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Swali langu kwa waziri ni serikali ina mipango gani ili kuongeza runway ya Eldoret International Airport na pia kukarabati airstrip ya Baringo County ambayo inatumika sana kwa mambo ya masuala ya usalama kule Kerio Valley. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kujua, kwa sababu hii imekuwa kwa mpango wa serikali kwa muda mrefu, kuwa uwanja wa ndege wa kimataifa wa Eldoret itapanuliwa ili uchukuzi ya mambo ya bidhaa za kilimo siweze kuboresha. Mheshimiwa Spika, unavyoelewa kaunti ambazo zinazunguka mji wa Eldoret ni kaunti ambazo zina sana uchumi wao unategemea mambo ya kilimo, na kwa hivyo tungependa kama serikali waziri atueleze kama iko kwa mipango ya serikali kwa mwaka ya matumizi ya fedha ya 25-26 kupanua uwanja wa Eldoret Airport ili sisi kama wakulima tuweze kuitumia. Mheshimiwa Spika, na hiyo airstrip ya Baringo ambaye sana inahusika na mambo ya usalama na inasaidia sana wakati tunakuwa na majeruhi kule Kerio Valley kwa sababu ya mambo ya usalama. Maafisa wetu ya usalama na pia raia wanasaidika kwa kupewa huduma ya kwanza na ya haraka kwa mambo ya matibabu. Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Senators, because of time, I'm going to take only 2 more supplementary questions from the dashboard so that we can move on to the other questions which are on the order paper.
Mr. Speaker, the CS has said that the airstrips belong to the Ministry of Interior and not Kenya Airports Authority. And I want to ask him, what is he going to do so that they can have full control over the airstrips, bearing in mind that the airstrips are for evacuation purposes and also for emergency landings. And could he, in that particular state, what's the status of Makindu airstrip, which is also on the flight line to Mombasa, from Mombasa to Nairobi?
Thank you, Senator. And those are 2 questions. You only allowed 1 supplementary question. Joe Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My supplementary question is related to the answer that the CS gave on Senator Chute's question, and that is relating to Sololo airstrip, Mr. Speaker. because the CS says that there is airspace obstruction by Kenya Power transmission lines, and there is unauthorized use where the airstrip is being used as a dumping site, Mr. Speaker. And so my question to the CS would be, what is it doing? Because we should have a multi-agency approach so that, I mean, what is the ministry doing and what was the ministry doing when Kenya Power erected poles and power lines across the airstrip? And what is the county, how is the ministry working with the county government to see to it that the airport is not, the airstrip is not turned into a dumping ground, Mr. Speaker? So it's about the multi-agency approach. What is the ministry doing to work with other arms of government?
Thank
to
you,
see to it?
Senator.
Thank you.
We've understood you. Cabinet Secretary.
Asante sana Speaker, siwezi kusema kwamba nitawezana na Kiswahili ya Senator Miraj, lakini hata hivyo nilielewa sabamba swali kwamba tuna mipango gani na mikakati gani kuinua hali ya airport ya Mombasa, Moi International Airport, ili kwamba the two airlines, Qatar Airlines and Turkey Airlines, who have allowed frequencies to land in Mombasa, do accommodate the kind of tourists and guests who will be landing in this airport. And certainly, Speaker, honorable members, we will have to operate Mombasa International Airport. We are working on the runway. I think there are some underground streams which have been causing problems. That's being worked on. We are doing some pavement works. We have got a private lounge which is privately run. We are operating the dignitaries lounge. And certainly, as the kind of guests come into Mombasa, we will have to pay attention to ensure that we do give the kind of customer service that is commensurate with the kind of clients. And therefore, I think it was more of a congratulatory message with respect to the new two airlines that will be landing henceforth in Mombasa. We are very cautious in managing frequencies with our counterpart airlines so that we do get commensurate frequencies in those other cities for our KQ airline. So thank you, Senator Miraj, for your congratulations. We are going to operate Mombasa and ensure that it meets the standards for the kind of tourist destination and the number of passengers we'll be handling from those two destinations. With respect to Senator Madzayo's question as regarding, that's a substantive, that's not a supplementary question, Speaker, and I want to beg to, because we want the names, the engineers, which universities they went to, and suddenly I want to bring a substantive answer to that question. So if my former colleague and workmate in the historical life we've come from allows me, we can work. As regarding the question from, I think, Baringo, this is Senator Mandago. What we really need to do, we're having plans to improve Eldoret Airport from a 3.5 kilometer runway to 4 kilometer to be able to uplift bigger flights for the kind of agricultural produce that we get out of Eldoret or that we bring into Eldoret, and the altitude. So the plans are there, and there's a small dispute to be resolved to allow us to extend the kilometers from 3.5 to 4 kilometer. And a lot of work has been done. If Senator Mandago, former governor, can work with us to resolve that small dispute in that formerly Aerotech or whatever land ahead there, that is having a small challenge, we'll be able to extend Eldoret very quickly from 3.5 to 4 kilometer runway. Baringo airstrip, like has been echoed by Manzo, my colleague and all-time friend, Senator Manzo. And it does come out that we really need to resolve the fact that most of the airstrips are under interior. And so is this particular one, Baringo airstrip, which is key for security and basically addressing the concerns of the region. So I'll work closely with my colleague from the Ministry of Interior to see, like we are working in other airstrips, to see how to improve Baringo airstrip to be in the state that can be used at any time, because when emergencies strike, you need a ready working airport. So Senator Mandago, I'll work with my colleague from Interior and see how to operate and improve Baringo airstrip. I think I've answered Matsai with respect to, again, addressing working very closely with Interior to have a framework on how we can maintain some of the airstrips which do belong to Interior, and yet, like Sololo or the other airports in Marsabit, we are able to, like I mentioned earlier, work together and make sure that those airstrips are functioning. Senator Nyotu, we will really allow me to go back and do some homework on how a government agency can come in and probably lay lines within the airstrip and cause that security concern that I did report in line with Kenya civil aviation requirements, that it should be a safe landing place, and we should not have secondary installation of power lines or, for that matter, deployed as a dumping site. But you know, it's really got, honorable members, to do with functionality and serviceability of the airport with respect to revenue. If our airports are not really revenue generating, they tend to degenerate if budget is not allocated and if we don't get frequent flights. So like I said, we will have a real good plan to ensure that our airstrips are in state of maintained, so that they do not become idle sites that look available for somebody to lay power lines, or that look available for anybody to do dumping of waste. And therefore, that's why you see us securing an airstrip as soon as we come in by fencing, even before we put in an infrastructure. So I'll pay attention, Chair, honorable members, to the concerns raised, more importantly, to ensure that our airstrips across the country are functional and instead of use. Asante, thank you.
Thank you, CS. Honorable Senators, we're going to proceed with the question of the day. Senator, okay. Cabinet Secretary, you've made a commitment to provide a substantive answer to Senator Mazayu's question. I hope you'll be able to do that in 2 weeks. Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. 2 weeks. Next question by Senator Sigei on behalf of Senator James Murango. And honorable senators, we are going to take all the 4 remaining questions, have the CS reply, and then take supplementary questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask the Honorable CS on behalf of Senator Murango, who has assigned me this mandate pursuant to a letter dated 29th of April, 2025. And Honorable Speaker, before I ask the question, I want to welcome the Honorable CS to the Senate, and I'll straight go ask question number 17 on behalf of Senator Murango from Kirinyaga. Question 17A, how many road accidents reported between January and December 2024 involved vehicles transporting miraa along the Mwea-Embu Highway, and could the Cabinet Secretary state the number of lives lost as a result of those accidents? Question 70B, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the absence of speed limit signs along the said highway which continues to impede the effective prosecution of speeding drivers. And question 17C, could the Cabinet Secretary explain what the government is doing to permanently address the speeding and reckless driving along the Mwea-Embu Highway, and state whether there are plans to supply speed guns to the Kirinyaga County Traffic Police Department, which currently has got none. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next question by Senator Professor Senior Counsel Ojenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask question number 23 on the order paper. And the question, Mr. Speaker, is in three parts. Part one, could the Cabinet Secretary, and Mr. Speaker, I am alive to the fact that we have a competent Cabinet Secretary who will address all these questions. I've also seen the responses, some of which you need, I'm sure, very brief. Yes. Could the Cabinet Secretary, roads and transport, indicate the annual budget allocation for projects by the Kenya Urban Rural Roads Authority, KURA, and the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, KERA, for the construction and upgrade of roads in Kisumu County for the period 2020-2021 financial year to date? Part two, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a list of all planned road projects by KURA and KERA in Kisumu County and indicate the budgetary estimates for each? And lastly, what measures are the ministry put in place to ensure the timely completion of all currently incomplete road projects by KURA and KERA in Kisumu County? And could the Cabinet Secretary provide respective timelines for the same? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The next question by Senator of Makueni, Senator Daniel Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question number 40. A, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a progress report on the construction of the Namanga, Kajiado, Loitoktok, Emali, Ukia, Itangini, Tawa, Masi, Mwala, Kilimani Road, and explain the delay in completing the projects? B, what measures has the government put in place to ensure that construction works on these roads meet the required standards? And could the Cabinet Secretary explain the deteriorating condition of the tarmacked stretch from Emali town to Dundune Market Center, which is already riddled with numerous potholes? C, what measures has the government put in place to fast track the project, and could the Cabinet Secretary indicate when the project will be completed? D, could the Cabinet Secretary also provide a status update on the payment of compensation to owners of the parcels of land acquired for the project, and indicate when outstanding balances will be paid? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. The last question by Senator of Isiolo, Senator Fatuma Dulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is 045. A, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a list of all incomplete projects for the construction and upgrading of the roads undertaken by the Kenya Urban Roads Authority and the Kenya Rural Roads Authority in Isiolo County, and provide reasons for any delays or stalling of the projects? B, how much has the government set aside for these projects in the financial year 2024-2025? C, what measures has the government put in place to ensure the timely completion of those projects? And could the Cabinet Secretary provide timelines for their completion? I thank you.
Cabinet Secretary, you may respond. And since you've provided the response in a written form, if you could be very brief in your response to the 4 questions, Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. Let me take the question in the order that they came. And with respect to the question raised by Senator Wakili Sige on behalf of Senator James Murango, let me straight away respond as to, this is a question concerning the number of accidents reported between January and December 2024 involving vehicles transporting Mira along Mwea Embu Highway, and the number of lives lost. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've presented a table to summarize that, and like you just mentioned, so as not to be wordy, we've had those accidents with the first one at Wanguru traffic. That happened sometimes in 2024, 18th December 2024, with the victims tabulated in the table, and it was along the father's Mwea Embu Road, and we have the situational position provided. The next one that also happened within Wanguru, and what that was reported within Wanguru traffic station, and that involved a Toyota Probox, registration KDL 806. Again, not to be very wordy, it is tabulated involving so many victims. Michael Philip Kashoki, who was a cyclist and was deceased. Teddy Njeru, pilot passenger, and also was unfortunately deceased. And the situation today with respect to the case going in the magistrate court in Mwea, court number 2. Again, the third one involving a vehicle KDN 233, a Toyota Hilux pickup with driver Kevin Munene, and the victims therein, Geoffrey Kinywa Nyaga, who was a rider, who also unfortunately was deceased. That happened on 27 Embu Road in a location called Mururi, and the situation on what's happening in court. Honorable Speaker, members, 2 cases reported in 2024, like I've mentioned, with 5 victims, 4 deceased and 1 injured, and 1 case reported in 2025 with 1 victim, 1 deceased. On the second question, honorable members, where the members asked the speed limits, signages, and on the said highways, and which continue to impede effective prosecution because the drivers do give reasons that there were no signages. Members, indeed, in the absence of speed limits on roads, present significant challenges for law enforcement and public safety. To address these challenges, the ministry has taken a multifaceted approach that includes technology, public education, and legislative action to create a safer driving environment for all road users, including Mira transporting drivers. One of the major challenges regarding speed limit signs, honorable members, and cutting across not just in Kenya County, is vandalism of road signs along major highways. As a result, drivers often claim they did not see the stipulated speed limits, making it difficult to secure conviction in court for overspeeding offenses. In collaboration with road agencies, we shall improve, and I undertake that we will improve signage maintenance, including anti-vandalism measures, by prioritizing regular inspection and maintenance of speed limit signs, installing tamper-proof vandal-resistant signages, use of CCTV surveillance or community policing to monitor and prevent vandalism. I think this is more effective. Use intelligent speed adaptation systems in vehicles, event data recording, and so on and so forth. Secondly, Speaker, honorable members, do continuous public awareness of community engagement using Ngao structures by conducting awareness campaigns to educate locals on the importance of speed limit signs, enhancing road safety, encouraging community involvement by forming local community to safeguard road signs. And thirdly, we will employ alternative speed monitoring solutions, which include implementing road markings, paintings, which are not prone to being vandalized as a backup, increasing the use of speed cameras and digital enforcement tools that do not rely solely on physical signs.
Cabinet Secretary, if I may guide you, to just skim through the answers because of time.
And on the final question on the issue of what we are doing to permanently address this challenge, currently Kirinyaga County has only one speed gun station at the Sagana traffic base. This device is shared amongst many traffic bases, Makutano in Sagana, Makutano in Mwea, Sagana, Kagio, Kutus, that road, and Keregoya, and therefore to enhance road safety and cap speeding, the relevant agencies are actively implementing measures to ensure that we do provide more of these devices so that we can cap this challenge, particularly of speed, overspeeding, by ensuring that we do proactively provide some of those speed guns. I submit. On the second question regarding, that was question 023 from Professor Tom Ojenda. Let me.
Sorry, Cabinet Secretary, do you have a point of order, Senator Korir? No, it's out of order. You cannot have a point of order against the CS response.
The budgetary allocation by Kura and Kera on some of the roads in Kisumu County, highlighted by Senator Professor Tom Ojenda. Speaker members, let me state that the budget allocation for the roads under Kura for the requested financial year, I have indicated the numbers highlighting the roads in Maseno, 10.6 kilometers, the roads in Kisumu, 3 kilometers, with a total budgetary allocation in 2024-2025 of 258 million. I've shown the historical allocation in the year 2020, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, and 23, 24. And the Kenya Rural Authority Kera has 2 roads being upgraded to bitumen standards in Kisumu, namely Maseno, Kombewa, Kalandini Road, which is 37.5 kilometers, and Koru Town Junction, a C35 road, and access to Koru Bible College, 11 kilometers road. The budgetary allocation for each of the projects, honorable members, Professor Tom, is shown. Koru Town Junction, C35, has a current budgetary allocation of 97.23 million. And Maseno, Kombewa, Kalindini, D245, and Maseno Town Roads has a current budget of 54 million in the current financial year. And we have also indicated the historical budgetary allocation for those 2 roads. The ministry through KERA has planned performance-based maintenance of roads, which currently are in procurement process under various contracts, and also progress of works completed as provided in the table attached. And that table is annex members. And on the third question, measures taken by the ministry on the projects under KERA are to provide sufficient budgetary allocation and further engagement with the National Treasury to allocate more resources to ensure timely completion, engage with contractors to facilitate faster progress. For instance, subcontracting of works to mitigate capacity constraint on the Maseno Kombewa Kalindini Road, sanctioning of contractors for slow progress on Koru Town Junction, C35 Road, Koru Bible College. And further, the ministry shall prioritize several critical roads for upgrading to bitumen standard in this county under some affirmative actions we are currently looking at. I've also, honorable members, given the table that shows ongoing projects under Kura in Kisumu, urban town, total kilometers of about 9.6, impacting on various roads from Tomboya Loop to Kenya, Kenobura, World Vision, Kenya Re, A8 Junction, totaling about 425 million, and currently work in progress at 36%. Let me then look at very quickly, and I will really, honorable members, say what we are doing to hasten the progress on some of these roads that we have done with the securitization and therefore payment of pending bills that will help us to expedite the work. With respect to the question from the Makueni Senator Dan Manso 040, which is the concern on the construction of Namanga, Kajiado, Loitoktok, Emali, Ukia, all the way to Kidhemani Road, and the delay in the completion of the project, and the measures the government is putting in place to ensure construction works on the road meets the standards and move quickly. Honorable members, Speaker, the ministry through Kenya National Highway Authority is currently not carrying out any construction on the listed roads links due to unavailability of funds. However, what is being carried out is maintenance work of existing roads and design, and progress is as tabulated, where in Namanga, Kajiado, we have a performance-based contract for maintenance of this section of the road that is divided into two. Isinya, Basil, 47.5 kilometers with a budgetary allocation of 137 million. And the second section is Basil, Namanga with a budgetary allocation of 353.3 million. On Loitoktok, Emali, we also have a performance-based contract for maintenance of this road, which is also divided into two sections. The section from Emali is Sineti Road, which is 57 kilometers with a budgetary allocation of 174 million. And the second section is Sineti Loitoktok, 56 kilometers, members, with a budgetary allocation of 197.9 million Kenya shillings. It's a 3-year maintenance contract, which is about to lapse. On Emali Ukia, a routine maintenance contract is under procurement and works are expected to commence in May. For Mwala, Kadhiani, another maintenance, periodic maintenance contract for maintenance is under procurement. Again, we will award in May. Ukia, Ithangini is currently maintaining, Kenya is currently maintaining this section between Wamunyu and Nduluki Junction through a routine maintenance contract. And Masi, Mwala, the section has been under maintenance through a maintenance, periodic maintenance contract covering Nyumvi, Machakos, Wamunyu Road, and Makutano Mwala Road, honorable members. With respect to the designs of Kajiado Loitoktok, design was completed a while ago and will be updated once funds for construction are available. We don't have funds for that road, Dan Manso. We can look at that and see how to prioritize. Emali Ukia, the road was designed to completion as part of the East Africa Economic Corridor, including the following roads: Kadhiani, Kamba, Mwala, Makutano, all the way down to that loop road. That spans and includes Matiliku, Kilili, Kwa Philip, Wote, Ukia Junction, and all the way to Makutano Junction and Wamuyu. The design has been completed, honorable members, and construction shall commence. And again, working on the budgetary allocation. The ongoing maintenance work are being implemented in accordance with the standard specification for roads and bridges and special specification, and further constructions of the newly designed section will also comply with relevant standards. The construction timelines for the future contracts whose designs have been completed will be set once funds again becomes available. And there are currently no ongoing construction requiring acquisition of land. However, for the future construction projects whose design have been carried out, compensation for land to be acquired will be done once funds become available. On the question number 45 by Senator Dulo, on the matter of incomplete projects for construction and upgrade of roads undertaken by Kenya Urban Roads Authority and KERA in Isiolo County. Let me respond as follows, and then I'll make a general statement on the delayed project with respect to roads, not just in Isiolo, but the country at large. The Ministry of Roads, Speaker, honorable members, through Kenya Urban Roads Authority has one ongoing project for upgrading to pavement standard in Isiolo Town, funded under GOK development, and I've given the details there for this particular upgrading of Isiolo Town roads. In Isiolo Town, which is funded by GOK 10 kilometers, we have a funding allocation of 838 million, and the contract is ongoing. Honorable members, amount certified today is 255.7 million, and the percentage of work done is 34.49%. Amount due to the contractor to date as advance payment is 83.8 million, and there is a pending bill payment of 121 million. And the challenges that include delayed disbursement of funds to contractor, road encroachment within the construction corridor, heavy rains, and so on and so forth. I really want to address, Honorable Speaker, the challenge of delayed roads due to pending bills, and say that, honorable members, when we got approval to securitize the 7 shillings additional road maintenance levy, that we did get Parliament approving sometimes in July last year. We have since securitized that 7 shillings. That is basically selling the 7 shillings to an investor who give us money today or who has given us money today, and they then take the right of the 7 shillings and collect discounted over a period of time. And today we have so far received 63 billion. We have allocated those fundings to pay contractors 40% of all outstanding invoices on certificates for work done. We have worked on a return to work formula through a settlement agreement, which forces contractors on receipt of the 40% to return to work as they wait the 60% payment. And I want to really assure this House that the delayed or the suspension of works that we have witnessed in the last few years is going to be something of the past. We are getting contractors back to work, and we'll see contractors working on our roads in all the counties in the country let me not say in the coming weeks, because most of the contractors are already, who have received payments, are already resuming work. And therefore, Speaker, honorable members, for ongoing projects where the impediment has been delayed payments, that is for now a story of the past. And I want to thank the House for allowing us to securitize the 7 shillings and to get the contractors back to work. This also, members, addresses the contracting GDP to construction, where with contractors pulling out of construction sites, there's been no much activity in our roads, and therefore payment for cement, payment for petroleum products from our petrol station, payment for steel, employment of our youth has been really contracting too, because of that contracting GDP from construction of roads. And therefore, with that facilitation and support, we should be getting back all the contractors, or we are getting back all the contractors, because let me say almost 50% as I speak here today have been paid, and the remaining 50% are being paid this week. Hopefully, we'll complete payment by next week and get all the contractors back to work. And therefore, there should be no road which, on account of delayed payment, should be suspended, because we have also worked through a settlement agreement to ensure that on receipt of the 40%, they start work as we complete the listing of this securitization facility that brings in a total of 175 billion to fully pay for pending bills. Going forward, we'll then work very closely with everybody to ensure that we do provide budgets to address the milestones that we expect contractors to deliver over a period of year, or a period of a budgetary year, so that we don't get into this situation where contractors, banks, roads being very political and being really what spurs economic growth are suspended because of non-payments. Because, Honorable Chairman, members, the table with the numbers as regarding the various roads that are in question, budgetary allocation is presented. Let me beg to stop. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. Honorable Senators, seeing the time, I will invoke Standing Order 34 2A to extend the sitting by another further 15 minutes so that we can ask some supplementary questions. And I will start with the members who had asked the question. Senator Sigay. And Senator Sigay, please be brief and keep in mind that if you can just ask one supplementary question so that we can give the other members time.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I will beg that you allow me to ask more than one question, because on the one hand, I'm asking this supplementary question on behalf of Senator Murango. I've got two supplementary questions, and mine, which is entitlement to me by virtue of that standing order, I'll be very brief. Honorable CS, the response that you have given us to question 2 under the alternative speed monitoring solutions seems to be futuristic in terms of how you have captured it. Could you be able to tell the House the timelines within which this attempt will be done, that is painting of speed limits as a backup procedure or system where signs have been removed? And second supplementary question, Honorable CS, is also as regards the implementation of the piloting of speed cameras by the agency NTSA. How long will this piloting process take, and or rather when will it be concluded, and facilitation of the complete rollout? And thirdly, Honorable Speaker, I would love the Honorable CS to comment on the rampant accidents lately reported across the country, one of which, Honorable CS, is the specific one which you went on site over the weekend in the accident in Kaplong around Bomet, where we lost 15 lives. There is rampant reporting of such accidents. I recall you made a commitment that you will give a comprehensive report as to that particular accident, and also the action the ministry is undertaking to ensure that we reduce this, because part of the challenge is the role of police officers or traffic officers and the roadblocks that are unnecessarily laid along various roads, particularly in that particular road. There is the issue as regards the narrowness of the road. You made a commitment that you will give a comprehensive report. I'll be glad to hear that. Thank you, Honorable
Senator
Speaker.
Professor Senior Counsel Ojenda.
Mr. Speaker, I think that let me thank and congratulate the CS for responses that are on point, but let me also ask a supplementary question. On a CS, just can you confirm the timelines for the completion of the Moroni Junction Mamboleo Road, and whether there are any plans to improve to bitumen status the Awasi Katito Road, which is only 19 kilometers. Only 19 kilometers.
Next question by Senator Daniel Manso.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, in my question, in all those roads under A, that network, for it to be complete and to interlink all those counties and also interlink international roads, Emali Ukia Itangini Tower is the only place which is not tarmacked. And although it is going through routine maintenance, my question to the CS is when are you going to tarmac Emali Ukia Itangini Tower, and all that area will be networked with the tarmac and vehicles can move freely for movement of goods and business. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Fatuma Dulo.
Thank you, Waziri, for your response. Number one, I have an issue with Kipsing Oldonyuro Bridge. I have been on that road. The contractor has abandoned the site. So, and the response to say that 60% is done is not true. It's only 20%, if I'm not wrong, that has been done. Actually, literally, she has done nothing, the contractor. Number two, page 4, I'm seeing upgrading to block standard and maintenance or whatever, the last table. Now, it's showing the budget provision is 27 million plus, but the amount paid to date is nil. And then they're saying no pending payment. I don't know what that means. If the project is complete, then the total amount should have been paid on those two projects. Now, the other thing I wanted to raise, CS, most of the roads done by national government is also claimed by county government. If you can put billboards and signs to show that it is national government project, it will make a lot of difference. Please, even for accountability purpose. So you better instruct your engineers and your DGs to instruct the contractors on the road that they should put signage wherever they are. And finally, Mr. Speaker, just final one. The roads that are ongoing, there are rains right now. And actually they are sweeping all the buildings because the drainage are not working and the works are not complete. So I think in future, when they are actually doing the work and the rains are almost coming, they should ensure that when it rains, the houses, individual houses are not affected. I thank you.
Cabinet Secretary, if you can respond to those supplementary questions first.
Let me thank you again, Speaker. And on the first supplementary question by Senator Sigei on the concern of being futuristic with respect to solutions that we plan to really employ to address the rampant accidents on our roads, and how quickly are we implementing the camera, the camera solution? How quickly is the rollout? Speaker, these solutions will be implemented in a multifaceted way, because you will appreciate that some of our black spots don't just have ripples and possibly bumps to slow down, or to want road users to slow down. These are quick wins that we can implement immediately. And we've given direction after the challenge that we have lately faced on the rampant road accident, but more importantly, in black spot areas, why ripples and bumps and proper road signages are not placed in black spots. And black spots are known and absolutely, there's absolutely no reason. So we'll implement those very quickly. With respect to the cameras rollout, you may or may not be aware that we are currently working on implementation of a number of cameras in our cities. And so it's not so much the testing, it's more of the budget. And so we will move quickly to ensure that we do deterrent when road users know that our cameras are available and watching them, or when we know we are being watched, we tend to really do what is right. So we'll work to ensure that we provide budgets, and rather than just have one camera on that road, if we had 4, 5, 6 mobile cameras, and road users for deterrent purposes do not quite know where the camera is because they are mobile, we should suddenly bring up the level of discipline and be able to curtail the accidents, the rampant accidents on our roads rather. With respect to some of the things we are doing, honorable members, you know, we employ the alcohol law for drunken driving, and there were investigations are still going on of drunk drivers causing accidents like the one that happened along Kablong Road. And what we have done is finalize the regulations on the alcohol law, because previously when we employed alcohol law and before it was outlawed in Milimani Court in 2014, it was the Traffic Act did not cover alcohol law as a tool that could be employed, because it was not covered as an offense under the Traffic Act. So what we've done is Parliament has since amended the Act. We've developed regulations that are currently in the AG's office, and we hope to gazette this week, and thereafter introduce alcohol laws to ensure that we don't have drunken drivers really endangering lives of our road users for that matter. The issue is with the Traffic Act. The Traffic Act is under NTSA, while the implementing agency or the enforcement agency is under Interior. So those are some of the things we are working to polish up so that we can address this challenge on the carnage in our roads of innocent lives. As regarding supplementary question, Awasi, is it Awasi Moroni? Awasi Katitu. Let me not make a commitment on the floor of the House, because a number of these require budgetary scrutiny. We need to work very closely together. Professor, we can sit down and look at level of accommodation on the basis of prioritization of roads in the county. But more importantly, to say we currently have commitments on our ongoing projects totaling to about 2.1 trillion Kenya shillings. And for the budgeted allocation of about 50 million every year, that would take us about, 20, 30 years. I don't want to say 40 years, because 2 trillion divided by 50 is 40. And then so we really need to tread very carefully and do proper prioritization, do proper affirmative to ensure that we are building Kenya in an equitable way. So allow me, Speaker, Honorable Ochienda, to basically look at this specific road with respect to the programs going on in the county and the level of priority from the leadership of the county. As regarding Emali, Ukia, and whether we need to urgently prioritize that road, Manso and Tamak, being the only section in the whole of the corridor. Again, these are very specific requests with respect to really supporting this transnational corridor, and therefore allow me to basically sit down with Senator Manso and look at that. I did say, with the respect of one of this bridge that has been mentioned, was it Kipsing Oldorini, or the bridge that you mentioned, Oldonyiro? Kipsing Oldonyiro Bridge that has a budget funded under RDLF, and where funding has not been I did say, honorable members, we are fairly in a good place today, given the fact that you allowed us to securitize the 7 shillings. And any road project which on account of non-payment is being stranded or suspended, for that matter, we are getting back the contractors to work. We did not raise money for particular roads for particular region. We raised money for all the stranded roads in Kenya, and we are paying for all of them and getting the contractors back to work through a supplemental settlement agreement that stipulates how we're going to get back to work, how we're going to pay them subsequently, including bargaining and negotiating for write down of 35% of the interest that they had levied on the principal. So we are in a good place. We will need to chart the way forward together to ensure that budgetary allocation is adequate, or if it is not adequate, is commensurate to the work that we hope to complete, or where we hope the work certificates will be issued during the period, so that we don't slow down and ensure that we really get our road sector working again. Like I said, we already have 63 billion. It is a fundraising of 175 billion. It is not alone on government books. We are doing off balance sheet. We basically sold the 7 shillings to a special purpose vehicle who has looked at the historical performance of road maintenance levy, is paying us a 175 billion and spending time to collect the money without recourse to the National Treasury. And therefore, we should be able to, in the coming week, this week and next week, pay all the contractors the initial 40%, and on account of what they have signed for in the settlement agreement, go back to work on all those roads which are stranded, and work together to ensure that going forward, we do proper budgetary allocation to support work certificates for the completed work for the particular year. So members, I want to again thank you, Speaker. Thank you, members, for the support you've given us in the road sector, and particularly on working together to ensure that we settle pending bills and we get all our contractors in any road in Kenya back to work. I thank you.
Yes, Dulo. Give Dulo the mic.
Sorry, Waziri, on the signage and also on the 2 roads that the budget is there, but what has been spent is not showing on the table. I don't know whether you've looked at it, or maybe you can check later and give me a response. Thank you.
I think where there's a budgetary allocation and the payment has not happened, let me check the details. That could just be an exchequer release. It's a cash flow issue. It shouldn't be a major issue, and let me undertake, Speaker and Dulo, to address that with specificity, because where there's a budget and the work in progress, there should be no reason why it's just a cash flow issue with respect to exchequer release, if it's coming from exchequer. But if it is from RMLF, and because we have the RMLF money, there should be no reason why we can't just make payments where there's a certified certificate for work done. We should be able to pay that. I thank you.
Thank you, CS. Honorable Senators, we have only 2 minutes remaining. I'm not sure if we are going to be able to make any substantive supplementary questions and get replies to the CS. So please allow me to give leave to the CS, and we proceed to the next order. Honorable CS, thank you very much for your attendance today, and thank you for your response. And we wish you all the best in your duties, and you may take leave. Senators, I extended the hours of sitting pursuant to Standing Order 34-2A. The Senate stands adjourned until later today, Wednesday, 9th April 2025 at 2:30 p.m.
It's just about 2 minutes to 9:30, the time allocated for the National Assembly plenary sitting on this 9th day of April, the year 2025. This is a broadcast that is streaming live from the Parliament buildings in Nairobi. A broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. A warm welcome to you, and we are glad that you have managed to join us for these proceedings. What you're seeing on your screens right now, that is the National Assembly chambers. As you can see, members are making their way to get ready for the business that is lined up for transaction this morning. This morning, the members will be considering a procedural motion that will be moved by the leader of the majority party, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah. This is with regards to exemption of business from provisions of Standing Order 40, paragraph 3, that the House resolves to exempt that particular business. That is business number 9 with regards to a report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025. Remember, this is a bill whose second reading is concluded. If it is in the Tuesday afternoon sitting, members concluded on this particular bill at the Committee of the Whole House stage. This morning, this particular bill is set to be considered as well for the question to be put. You will recall that yesterday afternoon, the House deferred the putting of the question to the next sitting. And in this morning business, that bill will be considered at that particular stage and then move on to third reading. The other business that the Honorable Majority Leader will be seeking to have it exempted from the provisions of Standing Order 40, paragraph 3, is the consideration of the Excise Duty Amendment Bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly and which is currently at its second reading stage. So that is part of the business that will also be considered this morning. That is Honorable David Ochieng. He will be presiding over this morning's sitting. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast. Good morning.
Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umeteua nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu. Tukusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu ya jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba tuteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa, na tujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako ziendelezwe, na ili kusawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi hii yetu, na wale ambao kaja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amina. Order the quorum bell be rung for the next 10 minutes. Tafuta forms.
The prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, the House has not corrected for it to be able to commence its business. And this is as provided for in the House Standing Order 34. That at the commencement of business, a quorum of at least 50 members should be seated inside the chambers for it to be deemed to have corrected and for it to be able to commence its business. However, if that quorum is not present, then a quorum bell will be rung. This is, of course, an indication to the members who may be within the precincts of Parliament, but the business cannot commence because a quorum has not been attained and that their presence inside the chambers is highly required. As you can see, more members are making their way into the chambers. Once that quorum is achieved, then we shall be able to hand these proceedings back to you for you to follow the business that is scheduled to be transacted this morning as the members convene for this plenary sitting. Earlier on, I had indicated to you that there are 3 businesses. That is consideration of the report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Division of Revenue Bill, the Excise Duty Amendment Bill, as well as the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill that will be exempted from the provisions of Standing Order 43, being a Wednesday morning, a day allocated for business, not sponsored by the majority or minority party, or business sponsored by a committee. This morning is supposed to be a business of individual members. However, this procedural motion seeks to have that particular provision of Standing Order 40, paragraph 3, exempt these three businesses that we understand that are sponsored by the majority, as well as the committee that is the leader of the majority party, as well as the committee on budget and appropriations committee. So the excise duty is a bill that seeks to amend the Excise Duty Act to remove excise duty on imported fully assembled electric transformers. This excise duty was imposed in the Tax Laws Amendment Bill 2024 with the intention to support local assemblers. The amendment has had negative effect on the manufacture and supply of transformers by increasing the cost of importing parts. It is therefore intended that this amendment will reduce the cost of electricity and enhance power connectivity through additional manufacture and supply of transformers to Kenya Power and Lighting. This is a bill that is at its second reading stage. You will recall that in the Tuesday afternoon sitting, that is yesterday, when the members were about to commence debate on it, the House, it was discovered that the House did not have a substantive number of members. A member actually rose on a point of order to indicate that the House does not have quorum during the proceedings of the House. And so a quorum bell was rung for 10 minutes. However, the House did not manage to raise that quorum as needed, and it therefore adjourned. So this particular business was not able to be considered yesterday in the afternoon sitting. If you're just joining us, is that the House is about to commence its business. The prayer has been said and the chair already taken. However, the House has not corrected for it to be able to commence, and therefore currently is a quorum bell for members to actually make their way into the chambers, join the others who are already in, but who have not corrected, and at least allow the House attain that quorum for the business to be attained. That is Honorable Osoro, Majority Whip, indicating to the House.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
I know there's no petition, but honorable members, I wish to, for the convenience of the House, I wish to organize the order paper as follows: that we will deal with order number 8. Order. The Honorable Rindikiri. Member for Buri. The member for Buri. Order. We will deal with order number 8, and whichever way it goes, then we'll deal with order number 9 and 10. Then we'll go back to order number 5. So next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion, exemption of business from the provision of Standing Order 43.
Honorable Wako, are you dealing with this one? Honorable Soro, take your seat.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House resolves to exempt the business appearing as order numbers 9, 11, and 12 in today's order paper from the provisions of standing order number 43, being a Wednesday morning, are they allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party or business sponsored by a committee. So I beg to move, Honorable Speaker, and I request the Honorable Atandi to second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that this House resolves to exempt the business appearing as order numbers 9, 11, and 12 in today's order paper from the provisions of standing order 40 subparagraph 3, being a Wednesday morning, are they allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party or business sponsored by a committee? Is it the mood of the House that I put the question? No, members, I therefore put the question that this House resolves to exempt the business appearing as order numbers 9, 11, and 12 in today's order paper from the provisions of standing order 43, being a Wednesday morning, are they allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party or business sponsored by a committee? Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as those of that opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025. Question to be put on third reading.
Well, members, I remember we finished the process yesterday afternoon or evening, and therefore put the question, which is that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as those of opinion say nay? Ayes have it. The mover of this bill is Honorable Atandi. We move for third reading.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025, be now read at that time. I also would like to request Dr. Pukose, the MP for Endebess, and the Vice Chairman of Budget and Appropriations Committee to second.
Honorable Kose.
Honorable Speaker, I want to second the third reading of the Division of Revenue Bill. This is a very important bill, Honorable Speaker, that looks into the division of the resources between the national government and the county government. I second.
Oh, members, I propose a question that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10, 2025, be now read a third time. Is that the mood of the House? Okay, members, having confirmed that we have the requisite quorum, I now put the question that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025, be now read a third time. Will as one of the opinion say aye? And those of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for equitable division of revenue raised nationally between the national and county governments in the 2025-2026 financial year and for connected purposes.
Thank you. Next.
Order number 10, the Basic Education Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 59 of 2023, second reading. Question to be put.
Members, are you aware debate on this bill was completed, and therefore put the question that the Basic Education Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 59 of 2023, be now read a second time. Will as another opinion say aye? Those opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Basic Education Act and for connected purposes. Or members, remember we skipped orders number 5 through 7. So we go back to order number 5. Order number 5, papers. The majority leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, April 9th, 2025, morning sitting. Legal notice number 71 of 2025 relating to the environmental management and coordination strategic and integrated environment assessment and environment audits. Number 2, regulations 2025 from the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. Number 2, legal notice number 18 of 2025 relating to the energy management regulations 2025 from the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum and the following accompanying documents. A, the explanatory memorandum. B, the public participation report. C, the salient changes and features of the draft regulations. D, the regulatory impact statement by EPRA. And E, the impact study of the energy management regulations 2012. Number 3, report of the Auditor General and financial statement for the years ended 30th June 2024 and the certificates therein in respect of 1, Auctioneers Licensing Board, 2, Coast Water Works Development Agency, number 3, Commodities Fund, 4, Communication Authority of Kenya Universal Service Fund, 5, Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority Staff Mortgage and Car Loan Scheme, 6, Federal Party of Kenya, 7, Fish Levy Trust Fund, 8, Geothermal Development Company Limited, 9, Information and Communication Technology Authority, 10, Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, 11, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, 12, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, KETRACO Limited, 13, Kenya Engineering Technology Registration Board, 14, Kenya Fish Marketing Authority, 15, Kenya Fishing Industry Corporation, 16, Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis, KIPRA, 17, Kenya Institute for the Blind, 18, Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, 19, Kenya Literature Bureau, 20, Kenya Maritime Authority, 21, Kenya National Examination Council, 22, Kenya National Highway Authorities, 23, Kenya Social Congress, 24, Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Services, 25, Kenya Veterinary Vaccine Production Institute, 26, Kenya Yearbook Editorial, 27, Lake Basin Development Authority, number 28, Lake Victoria North Water Works Development Agency, 29, Land Settlement Fund State Department for Lands and Physical Planning, number 30, Lands Limited, 31, Mechanical and Transport Funds State Department for Roads, 32, Mohoroni Sugar Company Limited in receivership, 33, National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, Car Loan and Mortgage Fund, 34, National Cereals and Produce Board, 35, National Environment Management Authority, 36, National Environment Tribunal, 37, National Water Harvesting and Storage Authority, 38, National Youth Service Mechanical and Transport Fund, and 39, North Rift Valley Water Works Agency. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay.
That's it. You got another paper to lay? Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We have an additional part of that. Number 42, Nursing Council of Kenya, 43, Public Service Commission Mortgage Scheme Fund, 44, Regional Center on Groundwater Resource Education, Training and Research in East Africa, RCG, WRET, and RARE, 45, Revenue Statement, State Department for the Blue Economy and Fisheries, 46, Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, 47, Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund, 48, Sports Department for Blue Economy and Fisheries, 49, the Judiciary, 50, the Service Party, 51, the Tea Board of Kenya, 52, Tujibebe wa Kenya Party, 53, Veterinary Medicine Directorate, 54, Water Sector Trust Fund, and 55, Women Enterprise Fund. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I lay.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Mayor of Waldai in the house. She has 2 motions to give. Anybody assigned by her? Okay. It's not in the house. Go to the next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
All members, we have 2 questions, statements as it were. The order paper, the first one is by the member Weldas, who I can't see in the house this morning, and the member from Sambweni, the Honorable Faisal Badar. Give the mic to the Honorable member from Sambweni. You got the mic there with you?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to request for a statement regarding along the Likoni-Lungalunga Highway. Honorable Speaker, Order 44-2C. Wish to the chairman of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the high frequency of accidents along the Likoni-Lungalunga Highway in Msambweni constituency. Honorable Speaker, in recent months, there has been a surge of road accidents along the busy Likoni-Lungalunga Highway, particularly along the Nyumbambovu and Ganjala Simba area in Msambweni constituency. This highway, which falls under the jurisdiction of the Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, is a major trunk road facilitating heavy traffic between Kenya and Tanzania. The high volume of vehicles, coupled with a human activity in the many towns along the road, has made these sections particularly dangerous for pedestrians and motorists alike. Honorable Speaker, the presence of vibrant trading centers along the highways has led to frequent pedestrian crossings, increasing the risk of accidents. In the last 2 months alone, at least 2 lives have been lost due to hit and run incidents at these black spots. In addition, many other individuals have sustained severe injuries, further highlighting the urgent need for intervention. Despite raising these concerns, little to no action has been taken by the relevant authorities to curb these tragedies. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1. The immediate and long-term measures taken by the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure to mitigate the frequent road accidents along the Likoni-Lungalunga Highway. 2. The steps made by the ministry to erect speed bumps, pedestrian crossings, and other preventive measures in these accidents-prone areas as an intervention to reduce the frequency of accidents. And 3, the plans in place to improve road signage, lighting, and enforcement of traffic regulations along the highway to enhance road safety for both motorists and pedestrians. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I saw the chairman of the committee this morning in the House. And the vice chairperson, the Honorable Osoro, this will be your charge, that this request for statement by the member for Msambweni, I don't know if you listen to it. How long do you think it will take for the committee to respond to it?
Honorable Speaker, we've set, the committees have set a standard 2 weeks in
2 weeks.
responses. Mine is just to submit the question to the to refer to the relevant committee, and I commit to do it.
Suggested, and the answer be given in 2 weeks. I can see the member for Elders in the House. Please proceed with your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my apologies for coming late. Mr. Speaker, I wish to request for a statement regarding the Kalaza virus outbreak in Wajir County, and in particular, Mr. Speaker, my constituency, Elders, and also the larger Wajir West. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health regarding Kalaza virus outbreak in Wajir, in particular in Elders constituency, Wajir West, and generally the larger Wajir County. Mr. Speaker.
Order. I can see the member for Seme in the House. The honorable member for Seme. The honorable Nyikal. I hope you realize that you are now the chairperson of the Health Committee. And it's no longer the member for Endebess, it's you. And the statement being sought now is to your committee. So proceed, honorable member, and now be all ears now. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Nyakal, in addition to being the chair of this committee, and this is a light touch, has been the PS of that ministry, has been a professor in that particular department, key department, and now he is, by the grace of God, a member of parliament and also the chair of that. So we hope the answer we are going to receive.
No, proceed with the question. Don't lecture him yet. Don't give him a lecture yet. Just ask the question.
I know that
no,
what you say, but all the same,
proceed with the statement.
Yes, let me proceed with the statement. Allow me to start afresh. I wish to request for a statement regarding the Kalaza virus outbreak in Wajir County, Mr. Speaker, sir. In particular, in my constituency, Elders, the larger Wajir West, which I had the privilege of representing, and also Wajir County. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health regarding the Kalaza virus outbreak in Wajir County. Honorable Speaker, the Kalaza virus outbreak in Wajir, which is transmitted by sandflies, has escalated into a major public health crisis, posing a significant threat to the lives, the livelihood, and healthcare infrastructure in the entire region. And this has been recurring, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the outbreak has exposed the vulnerability of the healthcare system, including the shortage of beds, testing kits, and medical supplies in the area largely affected by this outbreak, in particular, Elders constituency, which I represent, and most of my former constituency, Wajir West, which I had also the privilege of being a member, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this has caused distress to the residents, some of whom have lost their dear ones, Mr. Speaker, while others grapple with the financial burden of the treatment. Mr. Speaker, sir, this virus has disrupted their daily lives, the daily lives of many people, with many forced to travel long distances in order to seek medical care. Mr. Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health on the following. One, a detailed report on the magnitude of the Kalasa virus outbreak in Wajir County. In particular, Eldas constituency, Wajir West constituency, and the larger Wajir County, and confirm the number of people, the number of confirmed cases, the fatalities, and the rate of transmission. Two, Mr. Speaker, the chair to also provide a report on the emergency report measures being implemented to contain the spread of the virus, provide adequate medical treatment, and prevent further infections. Three, Mr. Speaker, I also want the chair to provide the short-term and long-term plans the government of Kenya, in particular the national government, in coordination with the county government, because these are disasters. The government is taking, including the provisions of adequate financial, medical, logistical resources, and collaborations with other agencies in order to ensure there is rapid response intervention to contain the virus and prevent further transmission. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, I know health is devolved.
You can't go beyond that, but you know this very well. They've allowed you to read even beyond what you gave to the table office. So I would request that you read it the way it is.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I wish to request the same.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Speaker.
Before I ask the Honorable Member for Seme to say something on this, the Honorable Member for Marsabit, the Honorable Wako, has something to add before we ask the chairperson to.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just want to agree with the statement that Honorable Kainan has given on behalf of many of us. Last week alone, we lost about 9 lives in Marsabit, and it is affecting the different communities that live around there. And we cannot afford continue losing because it has been in Marsabit for the last almost 1 year. So the earlier we take action, the better, so that we don't lose more lives. Thank you, and Honorable Kainan, for bringing that up.
Thank you. The chairman of the Health Committee.
Thank you, Speaker. Sorry for being distracted at the beginning of the session. This is an important matter, and we'll make an effort to get an answer within 2 weeks as much as possible, because I know it is urgent. I've followed it in the press, what has been going on. We take it seriously.
Why would you take 2 weeks?
Within
2 weeks.
Yes.
So this could be, tomorrow, or could be next Tuesday.
Within 2 weeks.
Because from what you've heard, this is an emergency. You're probably aware that there's already been a testing, but as you enter Isiolo, there is some a testing place where we're being tested for this. So this is an emergency that I think should not go into the normal process of processing our statements. Could it be sooner?
Yeah, it could be sooner. Within the 2 weeks, we'll try as soon as we get, and we'll push the ministry to give us the information, which they should have actually at their fingertips.
That's what I'm asking.
If they're handling.
Why are you pushing on 2 weeks if you can get this in 3 days?
Within?
No. When?
By Thursday, and if it's by next week, by Thursday, I may be out of the country, but a report will be given.
Okay, Honorable Member for Eldasio.
Mr. Speaker, I expected a bit of empathy and appreciation from this able professor. As we speak, I don't want to sound an alarmist. We have lost over 30 people that we can confirm. Professor, I really want to believe through the speaker. This is something that you can even respond tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
I want to bleed with you.
Okay.
Bring the answer in whichever form by tomorrow afternoon. And I know you are able.
Okay, fair enough. The Honorable Member for Endebess.
Honorable Speaker, I kept listening to the member for Eldas referring to Kalasa as being caused by viruses. And he kept on emphasizing that point. It's a viral infection. And I don't know, I need to be educated because many Kenyans are listening outside there. And when you hear that there is a virus outbreak, you know viruses have no treatment. Yet Kalasa, I thought when I was in medical school, I thought it was caused by a protozoan, which is Dr. Nyekal, as now the chair, can educate us whether it's a viral infection or what is it? Because he kept on reading virus is a viral infection. Yes.
This, the honorable member for Elders, this isn't a matter for argument, really.
But it's good to put the report straight, because I think with a lot of respect, I think the member was not listening. I said this, I said Kalaza virus outbreak in Wajir, which is transmitted by sandflies. Sandflies. Let's not go into the semantics. I think the message is very clear, and please don't trivialize.
Order. The member for Seme, order, member for Elders. No, it won't be trivialized. You can be sure it won't be trivialized. Just take your seat. Just take your seat, member for Elders. It is. The record is quite straight because I listened to you. The member for Seme, the rest of this question will be brought back on Tuesday afternoon, even as you stand to give the clarification. Ensure that, because today is Wednesday, this is an outbreak. We want the report back to this house next Tuesday in the afternoon. Now go ahead.
Chair, the point is made. It's an emergency. I appreciate. So I think that point is made. I'll actually try, as soon as we leave this place, to put the process, put matters into action and see. I wish we could even do it tomorrow, if we can. I'll actually try and see what do they have. In fact, what we can do, Mr. Speaker, is probably get an urgent response on what is happening now. If we wait, if you have to wait, I can do it in 2 bits so that the long-term processes that may take a bit of time can come later, so that we then appreciate the urgency of the matter and the long-term need for it. But on this technical matter, it is a protozoal infection that is spread by a fly, that is the sandfly. We don't go into technical names, which actually lives in ant hills and crevices. And I know the terrain is actually opportune for that, so that if things are not taken seriously, it can spread very widely. And it's something that has been in the country. In my mind, I didn't want to go into this. I wonder why it even broke out, because this is something we know. We should have a surveillance for it. Even without it, there are other places like parts of Turkana, parts of Pokot where it has been, and it's a problem. We had even to start treatment centers. It has treatment. So we'll try to get the answer as soon as possible. If possible, even tomorrow, if they can, seeing the emergency on the urgent things that are going on now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That's good progress and fair enough. So we look forward to getting this response as soon as you can, but not later than Tuesday next week. Next order. I think, members, for the convenience of the House and following consultations with the leadership, we will dispense with order number 13 first, then we'll go back to order number 11 and 12.
Order number 13, motion supporting and promoting local fertilizer manufacturing industries. Resumption of debate.
The debate on this has been ongoing, and if you want to contribute to this, I would request that you press the intervention button. The member, Kirinyaga Central, what is our, what you want to contribute to this? Yes. What is out of order? Give the mark to the member of Kirinyaga Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have 5 statements that I raised on various dates and have not yet received the answers. The first one was to the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security. This was regarding the insecurity in Kirinyaga County. This was placed on 27th February 2025. The chairman.
Order. We just called a new order, and I don't see how that's what you're asking is related to the order we just called.
I had called for it before then, Chairman. Mr. Speaker.
Would you approach the chair?
Okay.
Just approach the chair. The Honorable Mutunga. The Honorable Mutunga, are you contributing to this? Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise to support the motion on the local manufacture of fertilizer. Honourable Speaker, the Fertilizer and Animal Food Staff Act 2015 governs fertilizer importation. It's basically about fertilizer importation and regulations. It basically focuses on having fertilizer brought out from without. Fertilizer importation, Honourable Speaker, has serious implications. One, we may not get the very specific quality we want for our soils. The soils are different in all parts of this country. We have capacity to analyze ourselves, and we have capacity to know exactly what each and every type of soil needs. Soil health is important for us to be able to know, for us to plan to optimally utilize the soil. And soil health has got various facets. One of them is giving what minerals are deficient. And in order for us to get enough of the mineral that we need, and instead of having so many formulae being used to correct the situation, it is important for us to focus on manufacturing fertilizer in this country. If we are able to manufacture fertilizer, then we can be able to manufacture fertilizer for different types of soils that we have. Honourable Speaker, there is no time that in the near future, in the foreseeable future, that we are not going to use fertilizer in this country. Kenya will need fertilizer for as long as probably we are engaged in agricultural production, just as much as the other countries do. In that particular case, we need to focus on doing exploration on the ingredients of fertilizer or the supply of ingredients of fertilizer in this country. I know there is this belief that we do not have sufficient rock phosphate deposit in this country. The fact that we may not probably be having enough does not bar us from manufacturing. It may be cheaper for us to import some of the ingredients that we may not have so that we can manufacture the type and quality of fertilizer that we need. Honourable Speaker, if we look back maybe about a year ago, we had a lot of issues with fertilizer in this country. Many people were sold fertilizer that was not of quality, and it is because of the lack of the appropriate type of fertilizer supply in this country, the scarcities. Sometimes we have issues that bar us from getting fertilizer in good time. Our farmers have want to plant without the fertilizer, the correct quality of fertilizer and type of fertilizer because it is not available. Last year, we also experienced delays in the transportation of fertilizer from the source country to Kenya because we had to go through South Africa. The luggage was hauled through South Africa because the Suez Canal was affected by the Gulf War. And this is an issue that can occur anytime. The fight between Russia and Ukraine has also been an issue. So these externalities have been affecting us in one way or another.